In today's episode of B&A Sports Talk, I'm going to be talking all things Giants, starting off with Brian Burns, my expectations for him this season, whether it can go good or bad, Saquon Barkley, the fallout, but also looking to the future, how I think he'll do this season, and finally Hard Knocks, what happened, what's going on, and then my kind of thoughts about the whole Hard Knocks process. Starting with 2 minutes on the timer with Brian Burns, let's start. So a lot of people are comparing him to Kayvon. Obviously, we gave him a whole bunch of money, $28 million a year. We also traded for him. I am somewhat optimistic, but I say I'm generally a pessimistic on this whole deal. So he has 59 tackles for a loss in his career. Not high. Not high based on the amount of snaps that he's played. Nick Bosa has 72, and he missed an entire season of play. But Nick Bosa, I mean, he's great. He's getting paid $35 million a year. He also has a pretty low, I would say, QB hit to sack conversion rate, meaning when he's getting to the quarterback, he's likely getting a sack. He's more likely to get a sack than anybody else, but that means that he's not really getting to the quarterback a whole bunch. But anyway, these are a whole bunch of stats. He only has one 10-sack season. A little bit underwhelming. You expect a guy with this pedigree to get more sacks, but over the past couple years, hasn't been on a good team, so meaning teams are probably running a little bit more. I don't have those stats. Sorry, I don't. But yeah, and just overall looking at the film of him, I watched a couple of games of his. He's a good player. He's quick, agile, maybe not worth like the $28 million contract, but I think it's going to be valuable to this team because he's going to be a leader in the locker room. He plays games, unlike Azeez Ojulari. We had Ellerson Smith for a while. I'm sick of watching Jihad Ward on the edge, so he's going to be a productive player. And then in a few years, when we have to pay Kayvon, we can easily move off him or trade. So I think this is a piece that will be here for a while. He's motivated to succeed because he just got traded, fresh new start. And he's on a defensive line with Dexter, Lawrence, Kayvon. And I think the culture is going to be a majority thing too. So a little bit of an underwhelming signing based on what we gave up. The second round isn't too much, but the money is a lot, especially when we're talking about rebuilding the team for the future. And I put a question here, would I rather Wilkins? No, because that means you'd be paying two guys a whole bunch of money. I don't think that's a good idea. Going on to the next topic, Saquon Barkley. Now, it was a big drama or whatever. People were talking about like Joe Shane, and he was right. I think he played his cards really well. You're not going to pay a guy like that $13-14 million. Saquon didn't go back, and now we can breathe. Sigh of relief. The whole drama's gone. Our running back core now isn't great. People are trying to say Devin Singletary, and I think he's going to do all right. His over-under yards is like 700. I'd probably pick the over, but we have inexperienced Tracy, and then we have Eric Gray. I was about to say Eric Brightwell. Both of them, even though Brightwell's gone, but I just don't see it with Eric Gray. I think his speed is good. I don't think his vision's good, and Tracy is playing the position for the first time. So I think he'll be great in Philly, even though he wasn't the solution here. In Philly, I have it as an underdog MVP candidate. He's like 120 to 1. If he goes off with Philly and they're winning, maybe it's not going to go to a running back per se, but he can easily go off for like 1,600 yards. Jalen Hurts doesn't really throw to the running back all that much, but I wouldn't doubt him getting a whole bunch of yards this year and then contending for that MVP. I think it's good value at 100 to 1. But overall, Saquon, if I had to pick, I mean, he was injured all the time, dumb injuries, but it's a thing. Like I just don't want to be dealing with that. And he was productive when he was on the field, had some like sick 100-yard scrimmage games. It was fun watching him, but let's get back to the basics. Now we have an elite weapon with Malik Neighbors. We'll use him. We'll get a band of things and maybe trade for somebody else. But if we look at it, top contending teams, if you're not named, the San Francisco 49ers don't have a running back, really, of that note. And even with the 49ers, they were doing well without Christian McCaffrey. He's just a piece that they added on. I'm glad we're not paying him. Focus some other resources to other positions on the roster that we need because we are a rebuilding team. I don't think he would have set us over the edge. So that's your second topic. Put 2 more minutes on the clock. Let's get to the final topic. This is one of my favorite ones. Offseason Hard Knocks has to be my favorite so far. I mean, I think it is because it's new. The previous ones, we've seen the story, okay, you're cut. And also, the more they're doing this one and the other ones, the more it's going to come to like a reality TV show where they know they're on camera, they're trying to improve their brand, so eventually it's going to get spoiled. I mean, they're doing a whole division in Hard Knocks this year. A whole division, like the Browns, the Bengals, that should be fun, but it's the amount of access that you can't quite get a handle of that, it's kind of frustrating. But the Giants are showing a whole bunch so far. They're showing the Saquon Barkley. They show him the Joe Shane, and people are like, oh, they shouldn't have shown Saquon Barkley, and these conversations should be private. But they probably knew that this stuff would be included, so they probably changed their opinions a little bit, or changed the way they were phrasing it a little bit. So I think there's just a little bit too much, and it's going to become a little bit saturated, a little bit old. But for now, I'm enjoying it, especially as a Giants fan. I'm not sure. Let me know if you're a different fan, but this access has been pretty good. It shows like behind the scenes of your general manager. Now, a lot of it we kind of knew already, per se, but if you're a fan from the outside, it's like, I didn't know that. And it's fun to watch like the contract negotiations. It's a different angle of it rather than training camp where, you may get some, is this team going to cut this certain guy? We're kind of looking at it. You get some drama stuff. You get Aaron Rodgers with the smoking weed or whatever celebration and stuff like that. But it is cool to have your own team do it. We're running out of time. But next up, I would like to see the Bears potentially next year with the new coach, how they were going to rebuild their roster on Caleb Williams. I don't want to see a team that was like, we have $100 million to spend. What do we do? I want to see some drama. I want to see like the Jets, what happens with the fallout with Aaron Rodgers, no matter what happens. The Dolphins, let's see if like, do we pay Tua if they don't pay him now? Like, what do we do with our roster? I don't want to see like a Patriots. How are we going to spend all this money? But yeah, that's going to be it. I have 2 seconds left. But anyway, yeah, that's it. Let me know what you think about the topics discussed today. Let me know any more topics you would like to see below. I'll see you guys in my next video.